What's poppin'? It's your boy Young Father, All Father MMA. Today I want to talk about, I would bet on it being fight of the year, Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. I'm well aware that Israel Adesanya is a hype train fighter. Everybody says Israel Adesanya is all hype. He doesn't have knockout power in his hands. He doesn't have the best grappling and submission game. He's a kickboxer. There's holes in Israel Adesanya's game. Israel Adesanya is 18-0, and he's the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. Now, when I first saw Izzy, I saw him after the Kevin Gastelum fight on The Breakfast Club, talking to Charlamagne the God and TJMB and Angela Yee. And he's just talking about how when he looked across the cage at Kevin Gastelum, and he said, "I'm willing to die." He's like, I meant that. And he struck me as cocky. I don't like that shit. And I'm a huge fan of Sugar Sean. Sugar Sean's cocky. Sugar Sean does it stupid, so it's funny. Izzy's like seriously cocky. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously cocky. I don't like that. I watched the Robert Whittaker fight. Robert Whittaker's a beast, bro. Robert Whittaker is not no fucking joke. Paulo Costa thought Robert Whittaker would beat Israel Adesanya. Also, if you watch Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero, do you think Izzy was running? Yoel was fighting a stupid fight. But then you got Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa, he was on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil. He won the first round. He was chosen by Wanderlei Silva. He was on Wanderlei Silva's squad, and in round 2, he lost by a split decision. He, years later, bounced back to the promotion and got a fight at UFC Fight Night. I believe it was UFC Fight Night 106. He won by TKO. He beat that nigga's ass. He became the Eraser. He came back as the Eraser. Paulo Costa, if Izzy comes stupid, Paulo Costa's gonna fuck him up. And I hate to say that, because now I'm a big Israel Adesanya fan. But if he comes stupid, Paulo Costa's gonna fuck him up. And Paulo Costa's gonna do that shit quickly. Unless Israel Adesanya takes this nigga serious. I don't even know how somebody cannot, though. So Izzy's gonna come with a plan. Izzy's gonna come correct. With a guy like, how do I even put that shit into words? With a guy like Paulo Costa, if you can stop the pace as well as the strength while countering the movement, you can stop him. Israel Adesanya, if you can stop the movement, if you can somewhat gauge and predict the flare, gauge and predict the feints, counter hit a feint to where he didn't fully throw the strike, but you counter hit it. Nobody's done anything like where it looked like they wrote down a specific plan to fight Israel Adesanya. You know what I'm saying? He's a 6'4" middleweight. He's big as shit. He has reach on almost everybody he fights. He has a fantastic kickboxing game. He can jab you and knock you out. He can knock you out with a left hand front jab. You feel me? And if you're not paying attention, you'll get clapped by either of these fighters. Paulo Costa's talking shit though. If Paulo Costa wins this fight, this is gonna propel him up to like Street Jesus fame. Paulo Costa already deserves that. And I don't think this fight is gonna make it through 5 rounds. I honestly don't think that, I don't see this shit making it 5 rounds at all. I can't lie though, one of the huge reasons why I'm such a big fan of mixed martial arts is because it's a sport where there's 2 people talking about what they're gonna do to each other, as if they cannot be stopped from doing so. And when the fight comes, when the night of the fight comes, the only person that can prove that man wrong is one man. It's a 1v1 kind of game, you feel me? It's a 1v1 kind of sport. You've had all these people coming into these fights with Israel Adesanya saying what they're gonna do so easily. and they've all been wrong in his professional record. It's 18-0. I believe Paulo Costa is 13-0 in his professional career. As for my actual prediction, either of them could drop in the fourth. I think it's going to end in the fourth. I certainly think that Paulo Costa, when people are in their first time fighting in the championship rounds, they tend to get gassed. For those of you who watched John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson 1, you know Alexander Gustafsson won that fight. But in the fourth round and fifth round, there were a couple time frames where Alexander Gustafsson, he kept his bounce, he kept his movement a little bit, but he was not there. Every time he was out of it like that, John Jones couldn't really tell because Alexander Gustafsson was covering up very well. If Paulo Costa can do the same, I think he can catch Izzy coming in and drop him. But if Izzy plays it as smart as Izzy's been playing it, because Izzy plays it smart as fuck, he said, I'm on level 2, they're just loading into the game. If he goes in that mode, if he goes in God mode, I think Izzy will knock him out in the fourth with a counter strike after Paulo throws an overhand. I could see the flurry after the overhand, you know what I'm saying? One of the throws in the flurry after the overhand catches Paulo Costa and drops him in the fourth. Somebody's going down in that fight. That's why I'm so excited for it, because somebody's going down. But hopefully niggas interact with me in the comment section. Let me know who you think is going to take it. Do you think Izzy's going to take it? Do you think Costa's going to take it? Do you think it's going to make it all 5 rounds and go to the scorecards? Because I don't. I don't think anybody sees it go to the scorecards because there's been too much shit spoken. So let me know in the comment section. It's been your boy, Y'all Father, All Father. You feel me? All Father MMA. Tap in, comment section. Fuck with me. I see niggas.